Hello there party peeps and welcome to my first unboxing video. This is the VEIKK A50 tablet that the company themselves actually sent me and asked me to review, which was quite a surprise honestly, and I want to extend a massive thank you to them for giving me this opportunity and allowing me to test out such a great bit of kit. Here you can see I'm unboxing the tablet, and inside you don't find a disc for the driver installation, you get a thank you note that is styled to look like a installation disc with a link to the website where you get your drivers from. After this, you have the main bulk of the packaging, which is the tablet itself. The plastic felt quite sturdy, the build is very nice. It comes with 8 express keys and a trackpad, as well as a switch on the side of the tablet next to the USB port where you can turn the trackpad off. After this is the pen. It came encased in this felt packaging, obviously to protect it if you're taking it anywhere, which was quite nice. The pen's quite weighty and it's also battery free, so you don't have to worry about charging it. After this, you obviously find the USB cable, which you use to connect your tablet to the computer. Inside the box, and not made clear except for the yellow label, is your startup guide and your spare nibs and the nib remover. I thought this was a bit strange, but I managed to find them. I did wonder how many people didn't and had accidentally discarded these things with the box. Here you can see everything that came with the packaging: the tablet, the pen, the pen's case, the startup guide, the spare nibs and the USB cable. Driver installation itself was very simple. You go to their website and they have one driver for all of their pad tablets. You simply let that install and run the software, and it will automatically detect which tablet you own and cater the particular driver to this. It's incredibly useful, but I recommend restarting before you begin to use the tablet, as even though the tablet comes working with pen pressure from the second that the drivers are installed, it does not let you customise them until you restart, or at least this is what I found in my experience. So here you can see I'm testing the levels of pen pressure that came with the tablet. The exemplar that you're seeing now comes from my current graphics tablet, which boasts 2,448 levels of pen pressure. After this, you get 8,192 levels of pen pressure from the VEIKK tablet. My current tablet is an XPPEN, and it's quite an older model, which is why it has less pressure sensitivity. 8,000 levels was a noticeable difference. You have a lot more control over the weight of your strokes, which was quite relieving, as you don't have to worry about that tight space that you have with the 2,000 levels. Here you can see I'm testing out the tablet, and I have to say, while I was working I found it to be a very pleasant experience. The pen is nicely weighted, so it feels more like you're holding a classical pen rather than some of the lighter styluses I worked with in the past. The surface of the tablet was nice and matte, so you didn't have your pen slipping at any point in time, which meant you could keep a good grip. Another thing I noticed was that the express keys were very responsive. I didn't have an issue, I didn't have to press anything over and over again to get what I wanted from them. The same came with the trackpad. Unfortunately, I didn't really tend to use the trackpad much, as for the drawing I'm creating here, it just wasn't necessary. I used it a lot when I was testing out the tablet to see what it had to offer, and I decided to do something a bit more painterly to see how quickly and how efficiently I could integrate this change of brush size. It became very useful when I was trying to do smaller details with these test pieces, and so I do believe it would be a major improvement to someone's workflow. However, I did not use it here as it's an illustration and simply didn't require this. The tablet comes at a relatively good price, and I would say it's almost a bargain for the specifications it has to offer. The tablet is £52.99 in the UK, $55.99 in America, and €61.55, although I don't know if this is the correct price for Europe, as I checked this on German Amazon. For this price, you get a 10x6 inch tablet that has 8,192 levels of pen pressure, with a report rate of 250 points per second and a reading height of 10mm. The reading height is fairly standard for almost all graphics tablets, but the specifications you get are not standard for this price. They're actually surprisingly good, and I've owned a lot of Wacom alternatives in my life and Wacom tablets. For the same price I paid for my beginning Wacom tablet, which was the same price this tablet came for, I got almost none of this. I was with 1,024 levels of pen pressure if I remember correctly, and honestly if I had known about tablets like this when I first was getting into the world of digital art, it probably would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of handache, as the tablet I'd initially bought was very small. This tablet's quite large and there's a lot of free space to work with, which means that if you have a larger screen or you're simply someone that likes a larger drawing area, you do have that in your favour. One sort of complaint I would say I did have about this tablet was probably the pen pressure adjustments. I went into the drivers quite curiously to see the levels of pen pressure I was getting up to when I would just draw normally. I ended up hitting about 5,000, and no matter how hard I pressed, it didn't seem to go above that until I adjusted the pressure arcs. I don't know if this was ClipStudio or the tablet itself, but it didn't really seem to like what I was doing, and some of my brushes started to act weirdly. I think this was simply the pressure arcs on the brushes, because once I changed them back they were fine, so I think it's just because they're geared up to work with less pressure, and so this increase sort of threw them off course really. Overall, this tablet was a very, very pleasant experience to use and to work with. It was quite fun to go back to using a traditional sort of pad tablet instead of a screen. I quite enjoyed the usage. I have worked with these tablets before, but it has been 3 years since I used a tablet like this. And so while doing this, I sort of came to the realisation that I was essentially in a beginner's shoes when it came to actually using a tablet, not so much the software. Bearing this in mind, I think it would be quite an easy transition for someone who'd never really used a tablet before to pick a tablet like this up. It feels very natural to draw with, it's quite smooth, it runs nicely, your lines are very smooth thanks to that higher report rate, and all for such a good price with such a good size. I think anyone just starting with digital art or is looking for an upgrade from a smaller or less impressive tablet would definitely be wisely steered in the direction of VEIKK and their other tablets. The A50 is not the only tablet they have to offer, but unfortunately for me it is the only tablet of theirs I've played with. I'd say this is a fantastic tablet, especially for the price, and yes, despite the price it's a very good build. However, I have only encountered recently another small issue with the tablet. While trying to uninstall the drivers and reinstall the ones for my permanent tablet, I ran into an issue in the fact that it just would not install, claiming that there was something left from the tablet. I don't know on whose end this was an issue with, but I would like to point that out if anyone would like to bear it in mind, that if this is an issue on the end of VEIKK, you could have an interesting time trying to install a newer tablet. However, I am relatively certain this is a harmless issue, and it will probably be resolved by something I have managed to overlook. This drawing here was created after about an hour of playing with the tablet, so this is after I've managed to get used to it. The drawing itself was quite simple, I just wanted to make some illustrative work to show off what the tablet could do. Overall, it was a very nice experience. Being able to change between a pen and an eraser between the click of a button was incredibly useful, and you can actually customise this in the tablet menu itself. And to summarise this entire review, it is a great tablet for a cheap price that is absolutely fantastic to work with. Here you can see the finished piece coming to a close, and I will be putting the finalised version of this speed paint out as a separate video. Thank you very much for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and that is Art by Nature, out.